Hello, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? I'm just going to jump straight into the video. I'm not going to do any small talk. I'm not a big small talking person. So I'm going to share with you how to contact your guides and create a consistent relationship with them. There are so many videos about this on YouTube. I'm hoping I can bring something fresh to the table, and I'm also going to include some very simple exercises that you can do on a daily basis. So the three principles. First principle, your environment. Let's start with the external. So right now I'm sitting in my magic room. This is a space that I've created to do the majority of my magic, spiritual and psychic readings and work. The reason for this is I like to create a space that helps with coming into the state that I'm wanting to create. So let me simplify that a little bit. It's like going to the gym. When you walk into the gym, your mind and your body recognize where it is and are prepared to do exercise. So this is the same with creating a sacred space. When you create a sacred space, the more you work in that space, the more you're going to consistently come into a state of mind that's going to allow you to be ready to connect with your guides. This is a really important part. Make sure your space is filled with things that you love, and above all, makes you feel safe, calm, and relaxed. Secondly, the internal. So once you've got your space sorted, you now have to focus on the mind and the body. And you probably have heard me talk about a few of these things in some of my other videos. So let's get into it. The mind is the hardest thing to deal with when you're trying to connect to something spiritually, because it creates self-doubt, it has all its own opinions, and it's constantly convincing you that you're making it up. So here's a simple way to work with your mind. You need to go through a process of acknowledgement. Think about your mind. It's like 50,000 different characters in a sitcom, all having a thought about something. Some of it's relevant, sometimes it's completely irrelevant and unhinged. It all wants acknowledgement, so you need to do that. So what you can do is just get a pen and a piece of paper, and before you do anything else, you're going to write out all those mental unhinged thoughts in the back of your mind that sometimes you don't even realize are there. As you write this out, you're going to say it out loud, and what this does is it acknowledges those parts of the mind that are screaming at you for attention. Think about it like a kid. A little kid is screaming at you to give it attention, and what happens when you do? It calms down, it feels safe, it feels acknowledged. Your mind is the same way. So write out all your unhinged thoughts, give it some acknowledgement. Next part is coming into the body. The mind has all the thoughts, the body has all the feelings. If you're not acknowledging your feelings, imagine what happens when you go slow. You're going to come into the body and feel everything that's coming up in here. So you also need to go through a process of acknowledging it so it doesn't cloud your intuition. And the way to do that is super simple. The easiest way to get into the body is using the breath. So just breathe into the body, and as you breathe out, you're going to feel into any emotions that are sitting anywhere in the body. And then you can go through the same process of writing it out. In the body, I feel anxiousness, sadness, happiness. Whatever it is, just give it a moment to be acknowledged. And this will create a clearer channel and a clearer mind to connect with your guides. Third step, creating a connection point. So before you do create a connection point, you want to do all the obvious usual things. So you may do a prayer, mantra, breath work, meditation, whatever it is that you do so you can come into a calm, grounded, regular state. I'm not going to tell you how to do this because there's like 1,000 videos online, and you probably already have a system in place that helps you become calm and regulated so you can come into your intuitive states. You can also look into things like brainwave states. Ivy the Occultist on YouTube did a fantastic video on this, so you can go check out some of her work to help you come into a meditative state before you move on to the next point. So once you're all beautiful, relaxed, clear, calm in your beautiful space, you're going to create a connection point. A connection point can work a few different ways, but what this is, it's creating a doorway to connect with your guides. The way you can think about it is the guides are on the astral and you're in the earth realm, or whatever realms they're in and you're in, they're different. So you need to create a doorway to access them. So if you're really amazing at visualizations or you have a great imagination, once you're in a calm meditative state, you can simply visualize a door that represents the connection point to your guide. And then you know when you open this door that the guide is on the other side, waiting to speak to you. If you're not great at visualizations, you can use a mantra. Something that works really well is coming into a calm, intuitive state, being as open as possible, and then just saying out loud, "I'm ready to receive you," and then just see what information comes in. It doesn't matter how you do this, as long as you do it on a consistent basis, and the more you do it, the more it will strengthen that energetic connection, and you will be able to connect to your guide more easily the more regular you do it. Now, here's a few things to take into consideration when speaking with your spirit guide. First, most importantly, get rid of all of your expectations. If you have expectations, it's a form of the mind coming in and trying to control the information. You can't control psychic and intuitive information. It's not you, it's coming from somewhere else through you. So if you're trying to control it, it means it's coming from the mind. A lot of people are conditioned to believe that guides are big, beautiful guardian angels and they love us. But that's simply not the truth. Sometimes they come through as little tiny trolls and they're provoking you because they want you to see something about yourself. Guides come through and use communication that is ancient. So think about the most primitive form of communication we have: instinct, intuition, symbols, emotions, and sensations. Generally, that's how they're going to communicate. If they're speaking in your language, bonus, but always be open to considering that everything that you're experiencing is some type of information that's communicating a message for you to decipher. That's why sometimes it's a little bit difficult to work out exactly what's happening, because we're not used to the way they communicate to us. So just go slow and get very curious about the entire experience. And every time your mind comes in and tells you that you're making it up, write down that unhinged thought and then come back to your guide. See what they have to say about it. Now, just expanding on this topic a little bit more, sometimes the information the guides are going to give you is going to be completely unexpected and something you don't want to hear. A lot of the times we have this expectation, again, that guides are just going to tell us that they love us and everything's going to be fine, which is a bunch of bullshit. Yes, they love us, but half the time shit isn't fine, and that's the whole problem, because we are ignoring and avoiding stuff that's stopping us from being in our purpose. So when they say really confronting stuff, or they're making you look at something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you're probably on the right track. Just watch when the mind comes in and tries to convince you that it's not true, not real, or you're making it up in your head, because what you believe has been protecting you from actually coming into your real purpose. This stuff is confronting. Spirituality at its core is not comfortable. When we are comfortable, we are not in a stage of growth, expansion, or knowing more, or even curious. When we're comfortable, we get lazy. This is why the tool of suffering is so effective for our growth, which is a very hard truth. But if you want to expand, if you want to create this connection with your guides, if you want to come more into a purposeful life, get used to being uncomfortable and being told truths that are difficult to swallow at times. So if you like this video, obviously give it a like, subscribe to my channel. Feel free to share your own experiences with your guides. They are varied and large across the planet. We all have a beautiful guide that is trying to help us come into alignment. Some people say it's an external being beyond us. Some people say it's our higher self. It doesn't really matter as long as it's helping you grow and evolve in your time here. So good luck. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.